Hello, my friends. This is Mr. Simpson, and I'm here again to bring you all great entertainment. So, today I am here with a special guest, my good friend Al Matador, and we are both the first African commentators on YouTube. And we do this for entertainment, and we try to bring the best entertainment we can. And we thank Thunder very much for allowing us to post on his channel. So, my good friend El Matador, how are you doing?
Oh, I am very good, thank you. And I am happy to be here doing this commentary with you. And to the viewers out there, like my friend said, we are among the first African commentators on YouTube, and we have had a lot of unique experiences growing up and living in Africa that I think you will find interesting. Would you like to share anything, my friend?
Yes, I will go first. I will tell you a story. This was when I was very, very young. This was when I was still maybe 7 years old, 7 or 8 years old, and this was in school. And one day when I was in school, these children used to always disturb me, Mr. Simpson. They always used to disturb me, say, Mr. Simpson, you're foolish, throw my books on the floor, always disturb me every day. There was this like five of these children always disturbing me in school. So one day when we were in class, the teacher said, I am going to get some more chalk and paper. And then these kids came and started to disturb me, and they were calling me all these names, all these things. And then I got very, very upset, and I said to myself, I will not take this, I will not let these foolish children to play with me anymore, to disturb me. Then I went and I started to beat all of those five children, and I beat them very, very severely. And this was when I was 7 or 8 years old, and I beat their leader, and he started to cry. He started to cry like this little child, screaming around, crying like this woman. And then he started to cry, and then he was crying for so long that the teacher was gone for a while, and then the principal came in because the teacher was was gone for too long. So when the teacher was gone for very long, the principal came in and he saw what happened, and he said, "What has happened here?" And the children said, "Mr. Sim beat up this child. He beat this child." And then the teacher said, "Mr. Simpson, why are you beating these children?" And he said, "Come here, come." If you do not know this, the teachers in Africa, they hit the children. They will discipline you if you do bad things. So he said, "Mr. Simpson, come here. Why are you hitting these children?" And I said that I hit him because they were disturbing me, Mr. Principal. They disturb me every day, sir. So he said, "Kneel on the floor." And then with his big hands, he started to hit my head, just like this. He started to hit my head very hard, very, very hard. And this principal, he does not stop hitting you until you cry, because he wants to break you down. He wants to make you feel embarrassed and weak. So he hit me, he kept hitting me. And he hit me 7 times, like just like this, like that. And I was trying not to cry. And then when he hit me the 8th time, I decided to cry so he can stop. So I cried and I was embarrassed in front of all these children. And then the principal said, "Do not ever do this again, Mr. Simpson." And I walked away and sat on my seat. And the children were not laughing. I think they felt very sorry for me because I was beaten, because I was being disturbed. And then those children never disturbed me ever again, because that day I taught them a lesson not to disturb me. And the next day I told my mother, and my mother came to the school, and she was screaming and yelling at the principal that, "Do not touch my child. The next time you touch my child, I will slap you. I will call the police on you." do not ever touch my child. So that is just a few stories. In Africa, they discipline the children, the teachers, the parents. So that is just a bit of the story of my experiences, me, Mr. Simsim. So El Matador, you can now tell your story.
Yes, I have the story of my experience with dogs, both in Africa and here in England. In my town in Africa, these dogs they were not usually owned, so you would see them living in the streets in small packs. And so you can imagine that they were very hostile and they were wild. And unfortunately for me, there was always a small pack of about 4 or 5 living under a tree near my home. And every time I walked home from school, they would just get up and they would start growling and coming to me. And I would try to run past them and knock on the door, shouting for my grandma to open it. And one time I nearly got bitten and I became very, very afraid. And I had to do something about it. So I got my friend Baba Zule and I said to him, Baba Zule, why don't you just run in front of these dogs and make a big fool of yourself so you can act as live bait and draw all the attention far away from me. You are a pretty fast runner. There is a fairly good chance that you will be able to outrun them and continue living. But sadly he did not want to risk it. So I told my grandma, Grandma, please stay next to that door when it is time for school to finish. I do not want these dogs to rip on my beautiful flesh. And a few weeks later, some officials with shotguns just came down and they just shot down all of these dogs. And the blood, my friends, it was all over the floor, on the tree, and it was just a horrific sight. And these guys, the skill that they showed with their gun was so good, I'm sure they must have watched my Modern Warfare 3 weapon guides.
Were these officials government soldiers?
Yes, they were government soldiers, and they just came down in the middle of the night and they just gunned down all of these dogs, and you can hear the shotgun shell. It was very, very loud. And when I came to England, things were very different. On one of my first days here, I saw a man lying on his back and he was holding a large dog up in the air and he was smiling. I remember thinking to myself, why is this foolish man smiling? He is about to get his face ripped off by that animal. And then when the dog licked his face, that was just too much for me, because it seemed like he was getting a taste for the meal. So I just had to look away. But over time I realized that dogs could actually be friendly and loving creatures. So as you can imagine, with my experience with them, I was very, very surprised. But still, for a long time I had a phobia of dogs due to my experiences here. All dogs of all sizes, even the small little ones that you can put into bags and things, they scared me. And now I am a few years down the line and I have become more accustomed to them. You're not going to find me rolling around with them or anything like that, but I can walk next to them without problems, and it is good overall. Yeah. Did you have similar experiences with dogs, Mr. Simpson?
Yes, these dogs, when me and my brother Juma, they always used to disturb us and chase us around. But I will tell that those stories when all of you great subscribers come to my channel. So you'll see we are one of the first African commentators on YouTube, and most of the American community does not know much of us. And with me, I do these commentaries. I try to make them entertaining. And my good friend Al Matador, you do these weapon guides. Is that right?
Yes, I do these weapon guides and I put good information and good gameplay to show how you can get the best out of these weapons. But I will also be introducing new things in the near future to talk about Africa, so that you can learn more about Africa and hopefully be entertained by my stories.
Yes, so that is what we do. And I'm also starting this new series called Story Time with Mr. Sim Sim. So So do we have much more time, or is that the end of the commentary?
That is pretty much it, my friend. Thank you once again for inviting me here, and big thanks to Thunder for uploading this on his channel. We
Yes.
appreciate that very much.
Yes, I thank Thunder very much, and come see me, Mr. Simsim, and my good friend Al Matador. So I thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.